An active weather pattern is going to set up shop over the region for a better part of the next several days. Sunshine is going to be at a premium, to say the least. A cloud cover, for example, as we head into the night, so it's going to be really difficult to see much of anything. A bit of snow, though, developing out to the west. We do have multiple winter weather headlines in place going through Tuesday night. West River and then extending a little bit into north central and northeastern South Dakota. For what it's worth, tomorrow, mostly cloudy and 33 in Sioux Falls. Again, snow elsewhere. We'll talk about the rest of your forecast coming up. But until then, First and 4 starts right now.
Live from KELOLAND Media Group, KELOLAND News First at 4.
We'll bring you the latest highlights from the Summit League basketball tournament as each team tries to make it to championship games tomorrow.
Plus, Norfolk Southern will be in the hot seat this week on Capitol Hill as it answers questions about railway safety.
And later, we talk with doctors in KELOLAND who say that the flu shot has been a really good match for this year's strain. Good afternoon, and thanks for tuning in to First and 4. I'm Don Jorgensen.
And I'm Kelly Volk. Today are the semifinals for the Summit League basketball tournament at the Denny Sanford Premier Center. Now, we already know that the South Dakota State Jackrabbit women's team will compete in the championship tomorrow after defeating the Golden Eagles 87-60. Right now, the Kansas City Roos are taking on the Omaha Mavericks. The game is currently at halftime.
Then later tonight in the men's tournament, Oral Roberts will face off against St. Thomas for a spot in the championship game. The final game tonight will be the border battle between SDSU and NDSU. KELOLAND Sports Director Grant Sweeter will join us a little bit later in the show with a recap of the women's semifinals.
Well, hundreds of students from 5 elementary schools in Sioux Falls and Harrisburg were part of the crowd during today's first semifinal at the Summit League tournament. The nearly 600 tickets were provided by Wormerson Orthodontics in Sioux Falls.
I know over at Laura Wilder Elementary, they were really working with their 5th graders about how to act at the game of, to stand for the national anthem, to cheer, in a happy manner, not, boo or the crowd or anything else like that. So I think it's a good life experience for a lot of these kids to learn how to, behave themselves at a game, enjoy themselves, but also to be there, have a good time.
That's quite the opportunity.
Yeah.
We'll hear from a 5th grade teacher at Journey Elementary School whose class attended the game. That's tonight on KELOLAND News at 6.
And the other big story we're following today are the slippery roads across KELOLAND from this weekend's snow and rain. The Highway Patrol says that the interstate and surrounding roads in the northeast corner of the state are icy and snow-covered.
I don't think that's the end of the icy roads for this week.
No, I'm glad we're doing a little bit of melting yet today.
Yeah, but something's coming, right, Adam?
Yeah, a couple of somethings are on the way over the next several days. The first something starts to develop as we head later into the evening and overnight out to the west. But that's not to say that today has been bad, per se. The further north you went, you had sunshine. Lake Preston, our first stop today. Beautiful blue sky above in Kingsbury County, but not everybody has been able to get in on that. You head south to Falls Park, for example, and you're met with more gray skies. In fact, it's been pretty cloudy for a better part of the day. 32 at the airport with a north wind at 14 miles per hour. We've been in the 20s and 30s in many locations. The further south you go, like 22, for example, at Mitchell, 34 for Yankton, 23 in Pierre, but 17 Mobridge, 18 in Buffalo, 22 for Rapid City, 16 for Ortonville, Sisseton, and Aberdeen. Winds have been making their presence known, at least to a decent extent out to the west end, to the north and northeast, where we've had 10 to 20, locally upward of 23 mile per hour sustained winds. It's been 10 to 15 miles per hour elsewhere, but that's still enough to put wind chills in the single digits above and below zero. For example, it feels like it's -3 in Faith, -1 in Aberdeen. A wind chill of 0 for Sisseton and Ortonville. Feels like it's 1 solitary degree above 0 in Huron. So we've had really a tale of two halves for this afternoon. Not much of anything going on to the east, but you notice out west, snow has been redeveloping and will continue to do so as we head into the night and eventually into your day tomorrow as well. Speaking of tomorrow, we're looking at highs in the upper 20s to mid 30s for southeastern KELOLAND under mostly cloudy skies. Up to the northeast, we'll be in the 20s to near 30 with a little more cloud cover. Still a breeze at 10 to 20 miles per hour and a couple of snow showers not out of the question. To the west, though, and especially up to the north and west, we have a better chance for snow through the day. Temperatures in the 20s to low 30s with various winter weather headlines in place. We'll talk about that and go through the rest of your 7-day forecast as we head through the hour.
All right. Thanks a lot, Adam. Sunday marked 1 year since a deadly tornado touched down in Madison County, Iowa, near Des Moines. The EF4 tornado killed 6 people outside of Winterset last year. The community marked the anniversary with a day of remembrance. They grieved the lives lost and talked about how much more healing they have to do.
People are still suffering. People are still having insurance issues. People just want to understand the community is still there. So this is a nice event to have today. But we're going to continue to do the healing. You know, it may take years.
The EF4 tornado remained on the ground for 70 miles and also caused damage in Polk and Jasper counties. The stormy day was the deadliest tornado event in Iowa since 2008.
Hundreds of people came together in Iowa on Sunday to protest anti-LGBTQ legislation that is being discussed at the Capitol. Their main goal was to ask state lawmakers to stop the progress of bills like these.
Personally, I identify as trans, and I think it's an absolute shame what the Iowan government is doing with the anti-trans and don't say trans bills and everything. And I'm just here to show my support for my fellow trans community, and I'm here to show that we're here, we're queer, we love being in Iowa, and we want to stay in Iowa.
A few of the organizations who helped put together the protest include One Iowa Action, Iowa Safe Schools, and the ACLU of Iowa.
The U.S. Senate Committee on Environment and Public Works will hold a full committee hearing Thursday on addressing the environmental and public health threats from the Norfolk Southern train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. KELOLAND News Washington, D.C. correspondent Rashad Hudson has more.
This week, lawmakers are expected to learn more about why a Norfolk Southern train derailed last month in East Palestine, Ohio.
What happened, how our response was, both in terms of clean air, clean water.
West Virginia Republican Senator Shelley Moore Capito says the Environment and Public Works hearing will focus on the local, state, and federal response.
The residual and long-term effects could be what they're doing and how the company is making sure that they are the one cleaning up and doing it the right way.
At Thursday's hearing, lawmakers will include community members, EPA officials, and the CEO of Norfolk Southern. In an effort to improve safety measures, Monday, Norfolk Southern released a 6-point plan. Many of the changes are centered on monitoring bearings.
Frankly, no steps that the railroads take on their own are going to be enough in the absence of congressional action.
While Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg applauds the train company's actions, he says the Bipartisan Railway Safety Act of 2023 will be more enforceable.
We need tougher laws. It's not just about going to the railroads and saying, please do this, please do that. It's making sure that they have to.
Buttigieg says he is working with lawmakers to strengthen the bill. Reporting in Washington, Rashad Hudson.